arrested for obstructing police.
All right, I don't wanna stop you guys.
You are stopping it. You are stopping us.
Okay, could I just explain, because as I said before, like I've had,
Step away, please.
I've had issues with that before.
Step away, please.
Just stand there.
What the?
On May 12, 2021, Gloucestershire police reported to the Coleford area, a market town in the west of the Forest of Dean, Gloucestershire, England, on a report of erratic driving where they found a woman with 2 suitcases. She was fighting hard to not allow them to open her suitcases, but they would never have imagined what they would find inside. This is Just Insane, and of course, viewer discretion is advised. Phoenix Net was born on July 28, 1991, in Croydon, South London. Growing up, she was said to be fond of horseback riding as a child. She was a smart young woman who exceeded in school and loved drama. She was the granddaughter of a music photographer, Barry Wenzel. He had captured photos of stars such as the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix. As a teen, she was said to have gotten involved with a drug dealer and was introduced to a variety of drugs, including acid, cocaine, and MDMA. An ex-boyfriend of Phoenix, who goes by Joe, had described her as a kind spirit, saying Phoenix was kind and quiet, but also vulnerable. She didn't have a great childhood after her parents had split up. Joe also went on to say she was vulnerable and clearly experienced the dark side of the world that not many people would realize is there, but she still showed compassion and empathy to others. By October 2019, Phoenix was living in a women's refuge in Birmingham after still struggling with her drug and some mental health problems. But in a place where she was meant to feel safe, she was about to meet a housemate from hell. Garika Kanita Gordon was a Jamaican immigrant who moved to England when she was 7. She grew up in North London and attended an all-girls state school. Very little is known about her background. When Gordon arrived at the refuge, Phoenix quickly took her under her wing and they soon became friends. But Gordon wanted more than just a friendship. Phoenix would soon after tell her friends Gordon was demanding sex after she had asked her to lend her some money, and became physical and aggressive when Phoenix declined. This continued into early April, as Phoenix told a friend. Phoenix even tells another friend that she wants to return home to London as she is becoming more uncomfortable with her living situation. Around the same time, Gordon was calling a suicide prevention helpline on April 11th, disclosing that there is a woman she wishes to have sex with. In the early hours of April 16th, 2021, Phoenix had made a call to a friend. The friend had missed the call, but when they tried to call her back that afternoon, they did not get an answer. Little did they know that Phoenix was most likely already deceased. In case you hadn't figured it out by now, Garika Gordon was the woman in Coleford with the 2 suitcases, and what was in the suitcases was the charred, mutilated remains of Phoenix Net. On April 16th, 2021, Gordon murdered Phoenix by stabbing her 4 times in the torso. A fellow resident of the refuge had heard screaming at about 5 a.m. But for some reason, they did not call the police or alert authorities of any kind for help. Then shortly after, that resident heard sounds of drilling and banging. The next day, Gordon buys a circular saw on Gumtree, and she dismembers Phoenix's body. It was not determined if Phoenix was still alive shortly after that attack, but Gordon went as far as creating new email and messaging apps and started messaging Phoenix's family and friends to make it seem like she was still alive. She was calculated, even if she was diagnosed with a personality disorder later on, as well as a post-traumatic stress disorder. Between April 16th and May 12th, of 2021, she had brought cleaning supplies and paid someone to remove a bloodstained mattress and black bags from the home. I guess this guy didn't find anything wrong with blood-stained mattresses and bags, but to each their own. She pays her friend Mahesh Sorathia to drive her to Gloucestershire, about an hour away from Birmingham, with the suitcases containing Phoenix's body. By May 10th, she had gone to buy petrol and told Mahesh again to drive her to Coleford the next day. He picked her up again outside a quarry in Coleford and drove her back to Birmingham. And on May 12th, after searching up Brecon Beacons National Park, about 2.5 hours away from Birmingham, that evening around 5 p.m., Mahesh returned to drive Gordon back to Gloucestershire, and she proceeded to set fire to Phoenix's remains in the woods. Police arrive and see Mahesh and speak with him. They asked him why he was out after curfew, because at the time there were COVID restrictions. He advised he was waiting for a friend, and he went on his way. Then they noticed Gordon with the suitcases, and they had a burning smell. After opening one of the suitcases and discovering a torso, she was quickly arrested on suspicion of murder. Detective Superintendent Scott Griffiths of West Midlands Police Homicide Team described Gordon's actions as calculated. Her defense argued she was bullied at school for not being English and had suffered sexual abuse from prior partners. They also argued that her mother was not supportive of her homosexuality and kicked her out of the home. She underwent a psychological evaluation and was said to be unable to empathize with others due to her personality disorder. Gordon pled guilty to murder and was sentenced to life with a minimum of 23 years. All charges brought against her driver, Mahesh, were dropped. I don't believe for a minute that he didn't know what she was doing, carrying those suitcases around. Wouldn't there have been blood splatter or something? Phoenix's family did give a statement in court at her sentencing. It said, "We have suffered profound loss over the death of such a much-loved daughter. We have been caused so much pain by not only her death, but the manner of it. We will be forever devastated by her death. Our lives have been irreversibly changed." Thank you so much for listening, and please like, comment, and subscribe. This is also available in podcast form anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thank you, and stay tuned.